Welcome back into the score, everyone. Here, Jeremy Bryant with Shaw Pryor, and we're here at the old stomping grounds, Alabama, down here in Tuscaloosa, on the Walk of Champions, Bryant State and Saban Field. Obviously, ULM took on a very tough challenge tonight, and we all knew it. It was going to be a rough game for the Warhawks. I want to know kind of what are your initial thoughts after a 73-0 shutout for the Warhawks in this game.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's great to be back, man. It's great. It always feels like home coming back for a Bama fan. But, man, if you were a Warhawk fan, it wasn't a great night for you. I don't think anybody was surprised after Bama lost their last game to Florida State. They were coming out and trying to prove a point, and ULM just happened to be on the wrong side of that stick. It was scoring all over. I mean, Bama was executing everything. Ty Simpson, I don't think, threw an incomplete pass the entire game, but the Warhawks kept on fighting. They kept the starters in for a very long time, and I think it'll prove to be valuable reps down the line for them as the season goes on. And I think that's what Coach Vincent would say today, is like when he goes into that locker room, hey, this wasn't the game that we were supposed to come out and win. We are here for a very specific reason. One, for the money. Two, to prepare us for the rest of the season. And I think the Warhawks are going to feel confident going into the bye week before they prepare for UTEP with the type of reps that they got against a really high-quality opponent today.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, the bye week going into, after this loss, you look at the film, this is one of those games you don't really, pay attention too much to what happened in the game. You kind of play this game and say, hey, let's throw that film out, let's throw that tape out, let's move on to UTEP. So I think that was a great sign for them to, be able to see how they test against some power-4. And, they had their moments. Got a couple sacks. Obviously, the turnovers do not help you in this game. And, Alabama coming in with a vengeance of trying to prove that they're still Alabama. So they had something on their back where they had to show up today. So, if you're the Warhawks, you showed some good signs early of, being able to make Ty Simpson uncomfortable at times. But obviously, it got out of hand pretty quick. I think, 42-0 at halftime. Yeah. It got pretty quick. We saw all three quarterbacks for Alabama. So,
yeah.
We saw them all. We saw everything that they had to unleash. We're going to switch over now to Grambling State. They took on number 1. Now, ULM took on number 21. Yeah. Well, Grambling State took on number 1 Ohio State. And, this one was 73-0. Shave off 3 points. Grambling got beat 70-0, so obviously a big game where they fell in that one. But they knew what it was. Like I said, but one thing I hope Mickey Joseph won the battle of the bands in that one.
I really cannot wait to see how the bands did in this one. I think that's what everybody was really looking forward to. It was going viral all week long, but it's another situation where Coach Joseph said in his press conference when I was there, he said, we know why we're here, right? We're here because this is good for the program in the long run, right? This game is not about today. This game is about the rest of the season and the rest of the history of the program as it continues to move forward. So they went out today and, hey, they held their own better against number 1 than ULM did today against Alabama. And they actually ended up getting some defensive stops. Julian Saying threw an interception. So I think they're probably feeling okay about how they did it. I think for both teams, Coach Joseph said in his press conference he wanted them to play clean, right? Yeah. Let's avoid penalties. ULM was able to actually be less penalized than Alabama today, and I believe Grambling was able to do the same. So not sure about it, but hey, we know that Coach Joseph wanted to play clean, and I know he probably saw some positive things from T-Set and hoping to move forward, and hopefully they won that battle of the bands. But let's transition to a game that was a little bit closer, right? We had a team go out and play, I think, the number 3 team in the country. And actually hold their own, and that was your Bulldogs, man. You predicted it a little bit. You said their defense was really strong, and it looked like it played out that way today.
This defense was going to be able to put up a fight against this LSU team, no matter where they played this game at. They were going to put up a fight. This is a really good defense. Let's not forget, this was a top 20 defense in the country, not just in the conference, in the entire country last year. And like I said, new coordinator, but running the same scheme. So this is going to be a test for this LSU offense. No matter whether it was in Death Valley or it was in, what they call Gravedigger Mountain in Rusty. So no matter where they played this game, that defense was going to show up. And, they proved it against the LSU team, number 3 in the country. You hold them to 10 points in the first half. So, you got to put some props on that for holding the offense like LSU, Garrett Nussmeier, Aaron Anderson, all those weapons they have. You hold them to 10 points, and Got to give them props. I mean, they were the only team, this weekend that held their opponent less than 70 points. They finished 23 to 7 in that final, but also you got to look at the offense in that regard of, 2 quarterbacks played, still trying to figure out the kinks in that, but obviously, 2 years in a row, I've seen this Bulldog team test the power fours. So now you take this loss and say, hey, we were able to hang in with the number 3 team in the entire country. Now we go into conference play soon and say, hey, if we can do that to them, if this defense can hold that team to just 23 points, we can do a lot more against the rest of this conference. So I think it was a great sign for them to be able to hang in and show that, hey, this defense can go anywhere and play.
Well, hey, I think we saw a lot of really interesting games this weekend, and it was awesome to be here in Tuscaloosa and get to experience it. We got a lot of blowouts, but I do think that there is a lot of positive energy for all 3 teams in Northeast Louisiana moving forward this week. So we were happy to see the ULM Warhawks come out and compete this weekend in Tuscaloosa. I think that's going to do it for our wrap-up in college football this week. Stay tuned for The Score, and we'll see you next time.